Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
Couple tour dates to start. The day this comes out, 5/17, Glazer's After Party at the Comedy Store, 10:30 p.m. An amazing lineup. Lisa Traeger, Kara Klank from That's Messed Up.
Holy shit.
A great podcast. And then at the end of May, the 26th, which I think is Memorial Weekend or something, in San Diego at the Adams Avenue Theater with the Gateway Show and Billy Anderson.
Woo.
Hey, I think we got to sell out a 500-seater. So if you live in San Diego, please come to the Adams.
Nice.
And then a couple other shows, but the big one I'm stoked on, 6/13, Neil Brennan and Friends at the West Side Comedy Theater. It's a new material show put on by Neil Brennan every Tuesday. I'm only doing new material, so please come see people like Neil Brennan and I do that material. 6/13. What else is going on, Mary Jane?
Exciting. I also wanted to shout out a new cannabis awards show, the MJs. It's our friends over at Fairchild, Dave and James. They've started up in conjunction with MJ Biz. They've got new awards happening, and there happens to be an award for Best Cannabis Podcast. So I wanted to shout that out because I would love to encourage people to go over there and nominate us. There's a Google form that I will link in the show notes because you do fuck all around here, Mike.
I don't do that.
It's an equal opportunity podcast, everyone. We share all of the duties. I'm just poking fun. Anyway, getting negative right up top.
Shots fired. But no,
Shots
please
fired.
vote for us.
We are, going to share a link to that so y'all can go in and nominate your favorite brands and all sorts of stuff for your favorite cannabis activists and everything for awards at the MJs, which is going to be a black tie affair this November in Vegas. And I would love to go, whether or not we win, whether or not we're nominated even. I would like to just go and kick it.
Well, we'll be nominated because everyone who listens to this will go to that link that you put out there.
That's right.
And vote.
That's right. Vote, vote, vote.
Cool.
I think those are our plugs. I like plugs up top.
Plugs up top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not asking for consent.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Just plugging.
Okay.
Just pegging and plugging.
Whoa. Spicy.
Boom. We in here.
Okay.
Yeah. What up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
So good. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everyone. This is a podcast about comedy,
Cannabis,
cooking,
culture,
calling shit out.
and
For me, Denver.
Yeah, and for me, fucking celebs.
Yeah, Denver and celebs.
Yeah,
you have had a celeb-studded week.
I had a starry weekend in LA, and you had a different kind of starry weekend in Colorado.
Yeah, for everyone listening, I will say I landed not too long ago back here in LA. Mary Jane, you picked me up from the airport. Thank you very much.
I scooped you up and delivered you straight to your bed.
And
I wasn't there when you got in your bed, but I took you to a house where I assume you went to bed.
No. You carried me up my stairs.
I wrapped you in like a little burrito, and remember you used to do that joke about your wasn't it an Uber driver?
Yeah, if I would pay extra when I'm drunk, if the Uber driver would come brush my teeth for me and tuck me in and kiss my little forehead. That's a nice tip.
How much would you pay for that service?
That's a 70% tip.
That's it. Like
cash. That's a cash tip too.
No, but if you got to order it in app because you don't have cash,
right?
What is that, like a $20 add-on?
Per a la carte. Like I think the head kiss would be like $5. The tuck in would be $15. The toothbrush is probably like a $30 to $40.
Yeah, that's like a health hazard. So that's gotta be like, you gotta have like OSHA requirements and shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They gotta have like latex gloves and a face mask. Get
really
real weird.
Yeah, and then if you have to put and then if they like nuke a burrito and fill up a water and put all of the essentials next to your bed so you can wake up and do it all, that's like probably, you're looking at $100 take care of me fee.
A hundy?
A hundy.
Yeah, okay.
Take care of me fees.
Straight hundy. I like it.
It's a very cool idea.
Well, while we're talking about tech, I wanted to talk about one of the stories that caught my eye while you were in Colorado, and I was tooling around on the internet. I saw this story about self-checkout machines that are now asking for tips. Do you know about this?
Well, can you clarify what a self-checkout machine would be in this case?
When you were at the airport and you bought a bottle of water and a GQ to get on the plane with, did you interact with a human?
Well, two things about that. One is no. Two is I don't pay for anything at the airport.
Oh, okay. No, we've gotten into fights about this.
I steal everything.
Oh
I steal my water.
Dude.
I know we'll get to Denver in a second.
That's bad.
But I rode the train. I was supposed to pay for a ticket, and I just acted like a traveler who was like, "Oh, did I walk by that? Where do I get that?" And they're like, "Ah, this guy."
Yeah,
and so I didn't pay for any travel.
Yes, you did, because we were on the phone when the conductor came around and you were like, I have to call you back. And the conductor made you pay.
No, he didn't. He made me download an app, and then I looked at him with big doe eyes and played the fool.
Why?
And then he never came back. And then I deleted the app. And then on the way back today, I got dropped off at the airport at the train station by Korey, because it's a 40-minute train ride every 15 minutes. And I got on there, and the dude had a bunch of cool face tattoos, and I knew we were going to be homies because he looked like a hype beast. And he looked at me, he's like, "Do you have your ticket?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't even know what's going on right now. Like, where do I get that? I don't live here." And he goes, "If you come back, buy a ticket. If not, don't worry about it."
You know, Mike, for someone who like loves living in a capitalist society, you really should move to a socialist country.
Where would that be?
It's just where like shit like fucking
Sweden or something?
Yeah, or Canada, or any of the Scandinavian countries. But like, you really want a lot of stuff to be sort of taken care of for you. And for all of the yelling that I'm experiencing right now on my sandwich videos by people being like, fuck the government, and paying for menstrual products for school children is woke, and you don't want fucking taxes and all that shit. And I'm like, you know what? When that stuff is taken care of, like when you have your basic needs met, like healthcare or menstrual products, and when like the bus ride is free, that's socialism, and it works, and it's awesome. I think you would love it.
It sounds pretty tempting.
For someone who's like stealing water at the airport and trying to like get on trains without paying, yeah, you should move to Denmark.
I think I should. And especially because you know how my shoulder and neck have been so fucked up for so long. And they tried to get me my health insurance. It's been impossible to get an MRI for it. And they sent me a packet in the mail of things to fill out and then fax back to the doctor. And I'm like, we're doing fax machines still? Our medical...
Wait, did they mail this to you?
They mailed it to me to then fax somewhere else.
Where is the fax machine anywhere near you?
Fuck if I know. I didn't know
does the
that
Rite Aid
existed.
have where is a fax?
1940?
I know.
My grandma's house? I don't know.
Whoa.
So like, yo, if Denmark isn't doing faxes for me to get anything. An MRI, then I'm moving there.
I have no doubt that in Denmark it's like you like scan a card that literally takes care of all of your healthcare situation, and like all of your medical records are just there and accessible, and you also own them. That was something that I know we're getting way off topic here, but I was fascinated when I spent some time in France. I would live there for a little while, and I fucked up my knee really badly falling down a flight of stairs, very drunk. And luckily was rubbery as hell because I was so hammered, because otherwise I think I'd be dead. Anyway.
Was it one flight, or did you go, whoa, 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 and then pause and then go, whoa, 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 and then pause and then go, whoa, 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 whoa.
It was, okay. I was staying at my friend Sarah's place, and she lived in this cool old carriage house that was one of these amazing, like ancient fucking places. And the bathroom was through a trapdoor and a ladder down into the basement. And so I got up in the middle of the night, just hammered, like, like just seeing triple.
Yeah.
And tried to go to the bathroom and just like missed the door and fell straight. I think I hit the ladder on the way down, but it probably just made like a Looney Tunes xylophone sound. And then I ended up at the bottom, and I just remember my shoulder and my head were wedged against the wall. So it was like a straight line. And I was like another hair's breadth and my neck would have been broken. Yeah. No question. I was and then my knee was at this crazy angle. And, I think I was 21. And the next morning I just got on a train to Paris and was like, I guess I'll get it looked at when I get there. And then I arrived in France to like live there for a while and was like, oh, this hurts a lot and I can't walk. Got it looked at, everything taken care of, all of that, the healthcare system was absolutely incredible. And the thing that surprised me most was I left, they gave me my x-rays.
Wow.
You keep your medical records. At least at the time, that was how it worked. Maybe it was because I was a foreigner and they were just like, stupid Canadian, get out of here and take this with you. But I believe that in many of those countries, at least, it's very different from where here they like, everyone sort of like hoards your medical information. You have to get this doctor to talk to that fucking doctor, and then they have to make a referral to that doctor, and then that doctor has to fax something over here, and they keep you totally out of the fucking loop.
Yeah.
It's hellacious. So
wow,
I also would be better possibly in a place with socialized healthcare.
Truly. Well, I mean, we'll get back to self-checkout in a second, but I want to share it because my shoulder is so fucked up and it makes my neck so fucked up that I have a friend I don't want to say his name necessarily, but he just posted an Instagram video. He went to like Turkey or something because he's like 28, but he's already balding. Just genetics, it is what it is. And he went to Turkey to do a hair transplant.
Wow.
And he took a picture of everyone else on the plane, and it was a bunch of men, and they all had they all had bandages
Yep.
in Turkey. And so I was like, oh, where could I fly to get my shoulder looked at? Like if it came to that, because I ain't faxing a goddamn thing to try and get this fixed. It's going to
Yeah.
take another year.
Medical tourism is a huge thing. I remember listening to maybe a podcast. It might have been Tim Ferriss.
Okay.
Is that the 6-hour body, 10-hour work week? Hack your life guy?
4 days of work per week
I can't remember what it is.
to hack your life.
Yeah, sleep through a day away and get rich. Whatever.
Yeah. I was born wealthy by my book. I don't know what it's
do
called.
3 push-ups and look like me. That fucking guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it was a medical tourism thing that he was doing, but it truly is. I have a friend who just came back from getting her all of her dental work done in Thailand, and she was posting pictures of her like incredible time in Thailand and just like hanging out and doing cool stuff while also getting great care for I think a quarter of what she would have paid in the US. I was like, can you share the links, because I need a ton of stuff done and I would also love to, go to a beautiful place while it's happening.
Absolutely. Medical tourism.
Medical tourism.
I love it, because all I ever hear about is like you can get your legs shattered and lengthened, which all those like men did during the pandemic.
Yeah, and I think there are also, of course, like anything, shady fucking places that will take advantage of someone trying to get medical things done when they're not licensed, and obviously there's like
sure, but if I saw
a dark side.
Yeah, but if I saw a plane full of men with bandages on their head from getting hair transplants in Turkey, then I'm going to Turkey. Like I'm gonna trust that it is what it is.
Right.
Fucking hell. Well, if anyone out there knows where I should go get my shoulder looked at, let me know.
Yo, that's wild, Mike. Well, I hope
ideally you say Amsterdam, because that'd be nice.
Go to Amsterdam. You should go to Amsterdam and get everything looked at.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. Although I was just reading they're like really cracking down on things there right now. So I feel like Barcelona is the new cannabis spot, hot cannabis spot to go in Europe now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, things are getting, while the conservatives are ruining shit all over the planet for everyone.
So self-checkout machines are asking for tips, huh?
Let me talk about how the conservatives are ruining everything. Okay. Self-checkout machines. Thank you, Mike. Course correction. I make way too many sandwiches and yell about shit all the fucking time. All right. They are evidently being ridiculed, asking for tips. We started this out by me asking you if you had interacted with a human, and you said no because you're a shoplifter.
Yes.
So I pay for things, and sometimes I interact with a human, and sometimes I go to a kiosk and I do it all myself. These kiosks are now evidently asking for tips.
Whoa.
It's wild.
Where are the big question is like, who gets those tips, right?
Exactly. So evidently I was just reading in this article, the one that I pulled up was on, I think it's Futurism. It's called The Bite. But it is being reported everywhere right now because it just kind of hit the zeitgeist. And it was reported initially, I think, in the Washington Street, or what is it? WSJ? Washington Street Journal?
I think so.
No, it's Wall Street Journal.
Oh, okay.
So there was a professor who co-wrote 2 books on tipping, who told the Wall Street Journal that federal laws that require employers to pay tips out to employees don't apply to machines. And so some employers are exploiting the tipping as a way to generate more revenue for the company. And that money is not necessarily going. So I guess the idea is that if you do pay some kind of tip at these kiosks, that will go to the people who are working in the business. But like, why am I'm self-checking out?
Right.
I should get that tip. I should get a rebate for, it's like, when you bring your own bag,
idea.
right?
I love this idea. Yes. Go off.
Well, just, if you bring your own bag, a lot of places will give you a little, 10 cents back for bringing your own bag. It's sort of like a good behavior and an encouragement. Because I remember when they started charging for bags and everyone just like went fucking ballistic. So they were like, well, okay, here, how about you bring your bag and we'll give you money for that. If I'm being forced to check myself out, I should get a little rebate. I should get a 5% off. I should get like a, some kind of like monthly program where I rack up points like at CVS, give me a long receipt. Give me a long receipt with all of my points for self-checking myself out.
Much better idea.
Yeah.
Much better idea than giving a machine your money and then it floats off into the abyss where, like, you know, somebody who's like, well, I'm getting pennies from thousands of people all over the world, passive income. Like, who knows where
You
it's
were the
going?
one who clued me into corporations asking us to donate. Like, do you want to give $1 to the Red Cross Society or whatever? And that actually being a tax write-off for CVS or wherever the fuck it is that you're doing that. And so you shouldn't do that, even though it's a charitable donation. You're not writing that off. The company is writing that off. And I'd never thought about that.
Yeah.
This is a similar sort of, you know,
Yeah.
what the tipping who? What? No.
Well, this makes me want to ask for a tip for anything I do all the time.
Oh,
I
God.
think like,
Yeah.
because, right? Like if I'm going to hold the door open for you, throw me a 20%.
That's fucking crazy.
I should like have on my phone something that like you can just like Venmo me or tap like 20% and any
get the
good
QR
deed.
code as your lock screen.
Yeah, anything I do for anyone, hold open the door, like, you know, pick up your napkin if you dropped it.
Doesn't that mean you're my waiter and you work at the
Hold
restaurant?
on,
I'm
hold
already
on,
tipping
hold
you.
on,
You're just
hold
a
on.
stranger picking up my napkin. Weird, bro. Get away from me. Holding the door is nice. I can see that.
If I hold the door open for you, I want you to hit that QR code and give me $2.
Listen, God, America, this is the crazy thing too, because like until I moved to this country, you know, Americans have a reputation internationally as being fantastic tippers. You always want to wait on Americans. Wonderfully generous. They don't even know what money is. You're like, why are you giving me $25 on a $100 check? That's crazy. In Canada, at the time, at least, you were tipping 12 to 15%. And in the UK and most of the places I lived in Europe, you just didn't tip.
Right.
And so when I moved to the States, it was really hard to wrap my head around tipping culture. And it's, you know, because they don't have a living wage, and the whole fucking like, you know, ethos behind it is like, I mean, there's so much fucking craziness, like racism and, you know, craziness about like just not wanting to actually pay people. So you're forcing the people you're putting the onus on the fucking customer instead of the people who run the business to pay their workers.
Was it tipping tied to slavery somehow?
It was so when the black workers were entering the workforce, the people who were starting to employ them were like, well, we don't want to pay them a living wage, so we're going to force people to tip what they think the service is worth. And that was a big part of where tipping came from. It's not exclusively it, but it is a part of the like origins of tipping culture in America, are not wanting to pay black workers a living wage when slavery ended.
Wow.
And now we're coming into the workforce.
And now we're like, we need you to give this robot money.
Now we need the consumers to, as the corporations make more and more money and have a higher and higher profit margin, we also need you, the consumer, to pay all of the employees who work here, who are basically you.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Unreal. So this isn't
Horrible.
going to fly, right? There's no way this flies.
Evidently, people are tipping. That's the crazy
Why?
thing. Yeah.
What, do you need a machine to like you weak ass bitch?
Well, exactly. They're like, they feel emotionally blackmailed into it, and they're like, if I don't do it, I'm a bad person.
That's crazy. Sorry. You need to get over that.
Were you almost going to say grow up?
No. I was going to say grow a pair.
Oh.
I was going to say grow a pair.
Did you say grow a pair? Does that mean balls?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, let those nuts hang. Get some fucking courage.
What if it was like grow a pair of ovaries?
Great. Whatever you need to not tip a robot.
I like that. Grow a pair of ovaries.
Yeah.
Also, has everyone seen Beau is Afraid? Because there's a big pair in that.
Big
A
pair.
big old pair. It's the central conceit of the movie, and it's alarming.
It's pretty
Great fucking movie, though.
Yeah, it is.
Have we talked about that on here?
Beau is Afraid?
Yeah.
No, but
That's a
there is a
whole
great tie-in with your
episode.
butt of the week this week, matter of fact.
There is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like we can move on from our robot overlords trying to get us to pay them money story.
Yeah, I'm down with it. I also do think so I had to call United for this Denver trip because I'm a silver member. Like, you know, like I've got an exclusive hotline. I can
Is
kind of
that
jump
lower or
on.
higher than Ruby?
Trying to get to Ruby.
Yeah, I'm
Would
a Ruby.
love to get to Ruby.
I'm a Ruby, but I'm with Alaska. So like Ruby with Alaska is like probably like a bronze with United.
Probably, but I do have a special phone number I can call.
Okay.
To skip the general population phone number for United.
Oh, what?
Pretty exclusive number, but I still have to go through 3 robots and 2 surveys to get to an actual human being.
Wow.
And the human being was no help. And then they had to transfer me to another place to get help with my actual question.
What was your question?
My question was,
can you fix my shoulder?
Can you please fix my shoulder? Do you know anyone who has an MRI machine in their garage?
I've been trying to fax this thing for days. And I'm stuck in my apartment. Please help.
I'm silver. I'm a
I'm
silver
a silver
member.
Please. My friend Mary Jane won't help me at all.
Yeah. And so a part of me was like, well, if this person is going to be no help, and I sat on hold all this time and had to push a bunch of numbers and decline taking surveys because relax, I'm not taking your goddamn surveys. And then this person was no help. Then I am kind of pro-robot in certain situations. And that's a bummer. And that bums me out so much because I don't want to be pro anything but humanity. And so when when humanity doesn't come through and meet my needs, I immediately am like, burn it all down and give me the AI.
Give you the robots.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when has humanity ever met your needs, really, in your whole life?
Boy.
Like, have you ever been perfectly happy with how your needs are getting met in any time in your life? Like 2017, how are you feeling about humanity meeting your needs, you know?
Yeah, that's a great point. I've grown a lot and become a better me since then. And so maybe my expectation is that I'm thinking everyone around me, including strangers I don't know who are just doing customer service jobs, are also trying to grow and excel. And that might not actually be fair because maybe they're not. Maybe they are just happy or not, trying to talk about their mommy on Tuesdays at noon with Peter. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe I'm putting too much pressure on everyone else to try and self-actualize because that's my goal.
Well, I think that Brene Brown's advice that you should always just think of everybody doing their best at all times being the best way to live, because it just alleviates a bunch, right? Like if you just assume that everyone you encounter is doing their best in that moment, it takes the pressure off judging them at all. Like that just removes judgment. And it also allows you to just relax and like feel like you're in just, good hands with, whoever you're interacting with. It's just a better, less stressful way to live. I really like that Brene Brown advice.
I like that a lot, especially because Denver was an absolute blast.
Oh.
But I came for them a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it. Hang on, I dropped my joint. I have to pick it up.
Okay. So did a weekend of shows in Denver.
Okay.
Crowded, packed shows. Stayed with Korey David. I'll talk more about him in a moment. Great comedian. We met at the Vale Comedy Festival. He let me crash at his place. He put together the whole run of shows. We co-headlined at the Church of Cannabis last night.
Whoa.
A Mother's Day show at a sold-out Church of Cannabis was
so
like
cool.
a dreamy way to spend a Mother's Day. And everything about Denver is really, really great. There's mountains, there's lakes, there's dogs, there's a lot of craft beer. And one time I actually nailed it. They were like, "What can I get you?" And I was like, "I don't know, something light and crisp, something I could chug." And then he goes, "Da da da da." And then I looked at the description of it and it said light, crisp, and crushable. And I was like, "Damn, fuck yeah, Denver."
Perfect.
But
are we gonna look at pictures? Here, I'll scroll.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I really wanted to try Denver cuisine. I was like, what is Denver? I know it's a football town. They got the Broncos, the Rockies, the Nuggets are in the NBA playoffs. People love comedy. People love craft beer. But what's the food scene like? And the food scene in Denver, it's lacking.
What are you talking
It's
about?
lacking
It's a
and
stoner
lacking.
town. How can the food scene be lacking?
That's exactly what I said.
What if they got the munchies and the crunchies and all those like outdoorsy people who like exercise all the time and they got to be hungry coming back from skiing or like running up the side of a mountain?
Everybody is very hot, tight ponytails, workout pants.
People, yeah.
And I guess they all eat Factor meals and at home. I don't know.
What's a Factor meal?
It's like you order the food and you do the recipe and it's like meal portion sizes for like weight loss.
Oh, okay. It's a weight loss thing. It's not like I don't know. It is a home
like
meal prep kit.
Blue Apron kind of meal thing. Yeah.
HelloFresh. I've never heard of Factor. They are not a sponsor of this podcast.
No, they're not. And also had a joke, but it's a little late now, so we're just gonna move on.
This is your first time that this always happens. This is the quintessential Weed and Grub moment where Mike is trying to do something funny and I shut it down with some bizarre fact-based inquiry. I could see producer Alex laughing right now because this is the truth. Welcome to Weed and Grub. It's Mike literally trying to do comedy and me being like, but what are you talking about? What are the facts? I'm fucking crying. I'm sorry, man. Bro, listen. This is why we do this. What is your joke?
Fuck off. Fuck you so much.
That's like your uncle at a party. Do some comedy.
Yeah.
You gonna tell us a joke?
What's your little joke?
What's your little joke about Factor? Oh God. Okay.
So I took pictures of everything I ate, and I thought I would just kind of share with you. And then if anybody is not checking us out on YouTube, you can follow it at Weed and Grub. And we have pictures behind us the entire time too. So if you want to watch us talking,
smoking. We're also streaming live on Twitch nowadays as well from the studio. So those links are all in our show notes free. If you're not doing it right now, do it next time. Carry on. Whenever you're funny, I'll try not to step on it. I'm just gonna be over here.
So just kind of cruising through the Denver cuisine. The first place we tried was this food truck, and it was a Tibetan, Indian, Mexican food.
Whoa.
And I think that the idea behind it was like, we have great buttered chicken, but that might be a little bit uncomfortable for people. So if we put buttered chicken in a taco, that might help somebody who's never tried this cuisine before just be a little bit more familiar and feel safe with it.
Bridge the divide.
100%.
Love it.
And so this is their second food truck, the Tibetan food truck. They started in Columbus, Ohio, and they kind of popped off because they did a bunch of Dave Chappelle parties.
Oh shit.
For when he would throw those all-day festivals and like do those outside shows, he'd have a bunch of food trucks. And so they have one in Columbus, Ohio, and now they have one at this like hot spot in the middle of Denver. And their big twist that they're known for is something called a momo, which I'd never heard of before, and it's like a Chinese dumpling. Have you heard of it?
I have yeah, I'm familiar, like not super familiar, but I have had momo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was delicious. I looked it up. It's like ground beef, spices, cabbage, carrot, heavily spiced. For me, the dumpling dough is a little too thick.
Okay. I think that's the style of dumpling, right?
That was what I was going to say is like,
Yeah.
having not had it, I'm also going to assume I might be wrong in this situation and think that could be
My
how
recollection
it's
is
supposed
that
to be.
style of dumpling was like a kind of like a heavier, like a cold weather or kind of dumpling, a
Yeah.
heartier skin.
Well, because I think when I think of dumplings, I always incorrectly consider the same dough thickness as a pot sticker that's pan fried or something like that. And it's not. A pot sticker is so much thinner. Even a dumpling, I think, is usually a lot thinner than this because this had like but it was great. And so I was like, okay, Denver cuisine, we're on to something here.
All right.
I'm having Tibetan momos in Denver. This is great. And then I went to Voodoo Donuts.
Okay, now.
Look at this piece of shit.
I don't want to. It's like a night. Talk about Bo's afraid fucking attic monsters. This shit was like,
It does look like a dick alien, doesn't it?
Well, it also looks like a foot, which I really hate because get that out of here. I don't like feet in general, and I definitely don't like this one with like eyes for toes.
Yeah.
Oh God, what was that movie? Look into my eyes. Oh my God, I'm having a full on, and I'm grabbing my boobs right now, and I just realized I'm on YouTube doing that. But there was a movie when I was a kid. I was a teenager. And it was like some like kind of horror movie, and there was a scene where a guy was like having some kind of fever dream, and he was hooking up with this hot girl, and then she was like, look into my eyes, and he was like, all ooh, and then she was like, no, look into my eyes, and he looks down and her nipples are eyes, and they're like blinking and looking at him, and it's horrifying for him and for anyone watching.
Wow.
Anyway,
if anyone knows what that is,
donut
please. Yeah, that's
made
crazy.
me think of, and I don't know. It was like a Frankenstein movie.
Scary.
I think it was like about Mary Shelley and Percy Bysshe Shelley and Lord Byron, and they all spent a weekend together, and then she wrote Frankenstein after that weekend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think it was a movie about the weekend that all those writers spent in like a castle getting fucked up together.
Cool.
I think.
Cool.
I will try and find it and tell you what it is.
Please do. I would actually like to see that movie.
Yeah.
So
Big ramble about that. Sorry.
So Voodoo Donut, it's all the rage. The donuts look beautiful.
Yes.
I think they kind of putting cereal on your donut kind of like in the zeitgeist.
Yes.
They're known for their voodoo dolls. This is one of their voodoo doll donuts. So I was like, man, I'm here. I need coffee very badly, and I'm going to go take a walk and try voodoo. The line is out the door. I stand in line. I wait. I order one voodoo doll donut for $4. I order a drip coffee for $3.25. The drip coffee comes from a weird machine that makes it taste like crap. And this goddamn donut, it's jelly filled, but the ratios are all off. So it's like a Long John, but it's a Long John that is like broken into thirds. And then the icing is like this thick on the Long John. And then the donut or the jelly is only in the bottom half. So it's not even all the way through the donut. And then when she handed it to me, it was like breaking and leaking. And she's like, sorry. And I was like, well, then get a different one. And she's like, and then just like hands it to me and walks off. Voodoo Donuts, fuck you. You suck.
Wow.
You suck.
Okay, now.
Should have gone to Dunkin'.
Well, you love a donut. I know. And oh man, this is the thing about the donut. Like, and the sort of like the fucking expensive donuts, the crazy, what do you call them? Craft donuts?
Sure, I love a craft donut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is actually really nice to like go and get that super fancy, delicious non-Dunkin', or in my case, non-Tim Horton, like something that, someone got up at 5 a.m. and put their love and care into it. Like our friend Amara and her family's donut shop.
Absolutely. Or
Yeah.
there's a place called Sidecar. They have my favorite donut right now. It's a salted butter donut.
Whoa.
It's truly just like salty, buttery fried dough. And it's fucking phenomenal.
So fucking good. Those donuts that you got from Amara's family shop to bring to your show at the Comedy Store, it was like crazy. People were going nuts over it. And she created like special flavors for your show, like that kind of donut all day. But
the ratios were all off. I threw half of it in the trash. It was a big bummer.
Dang, I don't want to look at it anymore.
I also feel like there was like I'll move on.
It's creeping
I'll move on
me
in
out.
a second. But like there's also like there's something about like theme food always being underwhelming compared to food. Like a smash burger, trash.
Yeah.
A voodoo donut, trash. Hate it. What's next slide? I think it's
next slide. You got a slice.
I got it, and it was great.
That's a crazy looking delicious slice.
They call it the big slice at Atomic Cowboy. I got cheese because I just wanted to try the base level. Hit it with some Parmesan, some red pep flake. Try it out, and it was fucking delicious. Where's this? Atomic Cowboy.
Why does the paper say Fat Sully's?
Because the slice shop is called Sully's, but if you get the whole pie, it's part of Atomic Cowboy. And by 3 minutes, we missed their... it made sense in my brain. That didn't make sense to you?
No idea what you just said.
The slice shop is called Fat Sully's, and that is a subsidiary of Atomic Cowboy where you get the whole pie.
Why isn't the whole place just called one name? Like if you order a pie, it's from one place, and if you order to get a slice, it's from another place?
Right, but it's the same place, different names.
Why does a slice have a different name from the whole fucking pie? Why are you fucking with my head like that?
Because this is Fat Sully's.
What is Fat Sully's? That is the flavor of the slice?
No, that's a cheese slice from Fat Sully's,
which is inside Atomic Cowboy?
The pizza place, Atomic Cowboy.
I don't know what's happening, and I feel like you're fucking with me, and I hate it.
I'm not.
I don't understand what you're talking about. Like you're
this
saying
is why
that,
Denver's a very iffy food place,
like the lack of oxygen in the Mile High City has you all fucking crazy. I don't know what's going on. You're saying this is like me going to Irv's Burgers and being like, I'll get a combo. And they're like, cool, but if you just want a burger, you can go over there and get one from Mo.
Right.
He's just the single burger guy here at Irv's. But if you want the combo, it's from Irv's.
It's from Irv's.
So that's crazy.
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes, it's crazy, and that's what I'm saying.
Oh my God. I'm sweating.
Yeah, because it's exhausting. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're... Okay.
We also missed the biscuit sandwiches because it was a Sunday. They do biscuit sandwiches for brunch until 3 p.m. We got there at 3:03.
Yeah.
And they said, we can't sell them to you anymore, which also makes me think they had them, but they wouldn't sell them. And they said, but you can go to the one, and then they named some place like 40 minutes away. They're like, and they serve them all day over there if that's what you want.
Oh, okay. I'm actually on the side of the restaurant with that one. And I also understand how frustrating it is as a consumer to be like, what are you talking about? It's 3:03.
Right.
I know you have them back there.
Right.
But you know how it is. I mean, you've been on the line. You've worked in a restaurant. You switch everything over. You switch the lineup for a different service. Like you do not want to be dealing with like your breakfast shit when you're trying to put out lunch and dinner shit.
I do agree with that because that is like when, like, I bet you starting right at 3 all the way up until dinner, that's your prep time. That's your turnover. That's your cleaning. That's your like take a beat.
Yep. They're getting that whole station ready and they don't want to deal with your breakfast sandwich.
Interesting that if a restaurant closes at 10, you'll stay until 11:30, but 3:03 is what you'll defend.
I'm never going to order a breakfast sandwich at 3:03 and be mad ever.
Interesting.
Where did you get my this? You're moving the goalposts big time. I said that I would finish my glass of wine if there were other people in the restaurant up until 10:15. I think that's what I said.
Yes.
All right, gotta correct that.
And then we went to an ice cream place called Sweet Action.
No way.
We were told to go to Sweet Cow, which is better than Sweet Action, but Sweet Action rocked.
Okay, Sweet Cow isn't a subsidiary or a parent company of Sweet Action.
Yeah, if you get a cone, it's Sweet Cow.
Dying. What's happening in Denver?
But if it's a cup, it's Sweet Action.
Sweet Action.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got the salted butterscotch.
Wow.
The one that we both tried, Korey and I both tried, was the Georgia packed lunch. And it
Oh.
was a Coca-Cola and peanuts flavored ice cream. And she told us the whole history where in Georgia, you'd be tilling the fields and you'd be working outside on the farms and your hands would be filthy. So you didn't want to actually touch the food with your filthy hands. So they would pour their peanuts into the Coca-Cola and drink the Coke and eat the peanuts that way. And that became like a big snack through the South. And now they made it into an ice cream flavor in Denver.
Wild.
Yeah. Have you heard that before? Peanuts
Never.
and Coke?
No.
Well, the ice cream stinks, so don't try it.
Really?
Yeah,
You didn't
was,
like it?
It was pretty gross. I can see why the sweet saltiness of a Coke and peanut situation would be good, but
Sure.
but then when you're adding layers of like cream and whip, and it
It didn't work for
it
you?
didn't hit.
I
no.
feel like it sounds to me like it would be kind of like a float. Like it didn't have like kind of a float flavor.
I gotta tell you,
like a Coke float.
I love a Coke float.
Mm-hmm. It didn't taste like that.
But it didn't taste like a Coke float. That's the problem. I must have subconsciously been Coke floating.
Were the peanuts like chunky in nut form, or
Yeah.
was like kind of like a peanut butter dough kind of situation?
Nut form.
They were chunky in nut form. See, that to me sounds problematic. I don't want chunky I want like this is what Ben and Jerry have down perfectly. Like any chunks are also like a squish.
Yeah.
You know, their chunks are squishy.
Their chunks are squishy.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know if we've talked about it on here, but I do feel like Ben and Jerry's, like their tenets, like their principles, their
Yeah.
4 pillars are you need a swirl,
Mm-hmm.
you need a chewy crunch, you need like a secret twist,
Mm-hmm.
and a smooth vanilla base.
Have you heard about the sort of conspiracy theory that Haagen-Dazs and Ben and Jerry's were what's the word when they're colluding to keep the ice cream market totally on lock, because they're basically the only 2 ice cream manufacturers in the United States that have that sort of like quote unquote high end ice cream market.
Right.
I listened to a whole story about how like Haagen-Dazs cornered the smooth flavors market and Ben and Jerry's cornered the chunky market, and then Haagen-Dazs came for the chunky market, and then they had like this weird sort of like silent ice cream war where they duked it out, and then they just decided to go back to their corners, and they're like, if you do smooth and stay in your lane, we'll do chunks and we'll stay in our lane, and never the 2 shall meet, but equally we will dominate the market. Handshake, done.
Wow.
I heard a whole thing about it on NPR. It was fascinating.
Very
Yeah.
cool. I would love to read that book. That's fucking my
And it's also
alley.
like quasi illegal because like of fair business practices and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, sure. Right.
you know, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't care about that.
Not really.
Anywho.
So shout out to salted butter. Also, I don't know if you know this, but you know how my coffee order is a black coffee with like 4 or 5 ice cubes in it to just like make it room temp so I can drink it right away.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a bookstore that has some of the best coffee in Denver, and I said, that order, I said, with a couple ice cubes, and they go, we'll give you coffee ice. And I go, what is that? And he goes, like coffee ice. And I'm like, is this dude doing a bit with me? Like I'm missing the bit. What is coffee ice? And then he shows it to me. And so that they take their coffee so seriously that they don't want to dilute it with ice. So they make ice cubes out of coffee. So when you
Awesome.
order an iced coffee, you get coffee ice cubes in it. So the picture is awful because they were melting right away.
Just a cup of coffee.
But yeah,
I see no ice.
There's no ice.
This is Mike's photographic evidence. And it's just like a weird bowl of hot coffee.
Yeah. But
Was this supposed to show the ice?
Yeah.
It's a puddle of water. It used to be ice.
Just like
Fantastic.
picture different. Just picture it different.
Picture it in solid form.
Yeah.
This is liquid.
But he
Nice.
showed me it and he put like 4 or 5 ice cubes in there, and he gave me a hot tip. He said, if you want to make your own coffee ice at home, don't use plastic trays because they won't pop out. You have to use silicone trays, like the rubber
Oh.
ones, and they'll pop out real easy, and then you can make your own iced coffee ice.
Are you going to do this?
I kind of love the idea. I'd like to try it.
Yeah, it would really affect, because you put a few ice cubes in there, you're going to have a totally different strength of coffee. And you like your coffee pretty strong.
I do. I want it to be so bitter that like I'm angry. Yeah, I love it.
I'm actually excited because in the next week or 2, I want to do an on-pod coffee tasting situation, because I've been experimenting with instant cold brew, and various forms of instant coffee. and I'm excited to like bring some on for you to do a blind taste test and try.
Okay.
What do you think? Because I know like you and I have very different coffee palates.
Yes.
And we like very different things. But
you're a creamy dream and I'm a bitter boy.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the title of this pod.
Okay. Creamy dream and bitter boy.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was a cool tip and
Great.
something new. Then
Okay.
this
Am
is
I
where
swiping?
it gets dicey. Yes, please.
Here we go. Uh-oh. Dun dun.
Korey took me to Petunia's.
Yeah, I saw your tweet about this.
And I made a massive mistake. He was like, they're known for their quiche. They're known for their like sausage and egg loaves. They're known for their croissants.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, great, turkey sandwich. Like I
Wow.
super fucked up. And he made fun of me the rest of the weekend. I made fun of myself. Everyone we met, he's like, this dude ordered the turkey at Petunia's. And everyone's like, what are you talking about, dude? They're known for their
Why?
croissants. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I was very hungry. And it was like Havarti cheese, some kind of garlic aioli, red onions, turkey, bacon, sourdough. And I was like, absolutely. But they fucking toasted the sourdough. If you can swipe one more time.
Yeah.
And you can see where all of the toasting took place. And so now the roof of my mouth, my gums, my tongue, they're all getting scraped up left and right by this goddamn sourdough toast. And if anyone out there has any sense at all, quit toasting your goddamn sandwich bread, or only toast the inside if you really need that crunch and texture so that the outside is malleable for the mouth.
Would you have flipped around this bread? Or was it toasted on both sides?
Toasted on both sides, I checked.
Oh, because you would have done a flip.
I absolutely would have done a flip.
Also, can I just say, I've been in school for the past several weeks and I have not made a schematic as detailed as this one where you have circled the offending pieces of toast.
Look at it. That's going to crunch and hurt.
Wow. I didn't know that you were anti-toast on a sandwich bread.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
I need to put you in touch with some person who commented on a sandwich that I made that the sandwich, like they were so angry because it was untoasted and they were like, that's the most bullshit steak sandwich I've ever seen. Must toast.
Really?
I know. And also I know you have steak sandwich fucking heat right now too.
Oh my God.
You've been having some like sandwich fights.
Shout out Roger at Puffco.
Yo.
For writing in the comments on my Instagram reel about how steak sandwiches are an overrated lie. And he wrote, this is important information. Thank you, Roger. Thank you so much. If fucking the creator of the Puffco is backing me up, then I'm right about my steak sandwich problems.
He knows what's good.
Yeah. So quit toasting your goddamn bread, people.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I like a toast sometimes on a sourdough. Why? What is it? Is it like it hurts your mouth? Is that what you're saying?
It hurts. It's too hard to bite. And now you're like, it's just too hard on the teeth, too hard on the mouth.
But you have great teeth bones.
Thank you, but it's because of all the toasting I've had to go through.
Right.
They're strong. They're getting ripped.
But you don't you feel like the toasting stands up better to some of the wet condiments?
So that's what Julian Stern wrote on my Instagram thing too. He was like, you need that crunch because that is an unhinged sandwich. It's so many loose, crazy inside things. So you need that outside to hold it all together. And that was his take. So maybe you stand with Julian and I stand on the side of justice, I guess.
I also, those sticks make me nervous. When people put toothpicks in sandwiches, I'm always terrified. I have a couple of fears in life. One is that I'm going to lose an eye somehow. I don't know how. I'm just like always when I'm opening things with a knife or anything, you'll see me like opening it like really far away from my face because I have a weird fear that I'm going to stab myself in the eye somehow.
Okay.
And I also have a weird fear that I'm going to bite into a club sandwich that has a toothpick. I'm going to get that toothpick jammed between top palate and bottom, and I'm just going to be stuck like that until I have to go to the hospital and get it removed.
That would be awful.
So painful. Not lethal. It wouldn't kill me, but it would traumatize me forever.
Also probably not possible.
I have a big mouth.
Wait, open. Oh. Yeah, you could fit a whole toothpick in there up and down.
For sure.
Yep.
I can fit my whole fist in my mouth. I know I can fit a toothpick in my mouth.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, if you do it, fly to Denmark to get it out because you're going to have to
it's
fill
a long
out
16-hour flight with me just looking wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And now this is the last part of thank you for letting me go all over the food landscape in Denver. So we went to a place called Yacht Club. Shout out to Chuck Warner, friend of the show, friend in real life. He met up with us. Chuck is the man.
I fucking love Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he handed me a 10 milligram edible. He said, careful, it's probably closer to 20. And I ate it at the bar. And I told Korey and his girlfriend, Sarah, I was like, we have about 20 minutes until I need to go home. And I had to go home.
Wow, you sound like a fun date.
Yeah, I was like, it got me real hot. But before that, Yacht Club, 2 a.m. bar. They also have a ton of different hot dogs. This is a varsity dog, which has spicy coleslaw, chili, and a normal hot dog with some Lay's for $7. If you swipe it one more time, I also got a normal dog and added just a little relish, ketchup, and mustard to it because Korey said, and we got in a big fight about it, even though we're new friends, we got in our first fight. He said, the Chicago hot dog is bullshit.
Whoa.
It is a salad hiding the lessness of the dog.
Wow.
And if you need all those toppings on top of it, then it's not a good hot dog. His parallel to it was like if you order pizza and it's like, oh, get a chicken parm pizza or one of those macaroni pizzas. You know that pizza is going to be shit because they have to hide it underneath all these bells and whistles because the slice itself is not substantial and good enough. So you have to. It's all spectacle.
All right.
What do you think about that?
I want to know what you think about it first because I know you. I mean, I've eaten Comfy Pup. I mean, we were talking about Michael Walker and Comfy Pup and the Chicago dog. So we have like a Chicago dog expert in our group of friends.
Can I call Korey really quick?
Oh yeah, please.
See if he'll answer. I don't want to speak for him.
Okay.
But I had a big problem with it.
I want to hear what he has to say for himself about.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Korey, you're on the podcast with Mary Jane and I.
Oh, perfecto.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Great. I'm trying to explain very quickly your hot take on the Chicago dog, and if you can break it down for us real quick, I think I'd appreciate it.
Well, the base of the argument is that if you're going to say something's the best thing ever, then it should be the base food and not all the stuff you put on top of it. Like the other example would be like for pizza, you shouldn't judge a place and say, oh, this is the best pizza in town because they serve chicken parm pizza and it's covered with a bunch of stuff. So like my deal with the Chicago dog is that you shouldn't have to put an entire meal on top of the meal in order for it to be good. We're talking whole tomatoes, whole pickles. That's absurd.
Wild. You're wild, Korey. I'm astonished, but I don't think you're wrong.
Well, yeah, because I'm not.
What
you guys are saying to defend it. I mean, like, to me, classic hot dog, and Mike and I had some dope hot dogs the other night when he was here. It's basic ingredients. They had some chili on there, maybe a little slaw, but it wasn't overdone. I think just the idea that you have to put whole vegetables on top of a tubed meat just kind of ruins it for me.
My pushback to you would be, what about an ice cream sundae? Because with an ice cream sundae, the glory is in the toppings.
Well, I mean, but even how often are you getting those? I wouldn't say that the best ice cream place in town is the one that has sundaes. I've eaten ice cream probably too many times in the past 2 weeks. So I think just from personal experience, I'm like a 1-2 scoop kind of guy. Okay. Maybe if you're going 2 scoops, you want to mix it up a little bit, do one flavor and then do a different flavor just to see how it goes together. But that would be my move for like the best ice cream in town.
Wow. A purist.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. And then you can always jazz it up from there. But I think if you're going to have the argument about whether one place or another or a city has the best of a version of something, then you shouldn't have to put an entire Chicago deep dish pizza on top of a Chicago hot dog.
Oh, okay. Before we let you go, where is the best hot dog in America?
Best hot dog in America. I mean, I'm going to be a little biased, but I prefer more of a classic New York dog that's a beef pork blend. I've been going to the same place with my dad since I was like 5 years old, called Hyde's Hot Dogs in Syracuse, New York. And they do, have you guys ever had like a coney or a snapper?
Hell yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you're familiar. So it's a little bit more, instead of it being like 100% beef, it's like a little bit more pork. Sometimes I think conies and snappers are just like pure pork. And those, you don't dress it up with too much. I think ketchup on a hot dog is also gross. Mike and I talked about that. Just kind of overwhelms the dish. But I'll just go like a spicy mustard, a relish, and maybe some onion, and we're going to call it a day.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Please expect a lot of hate mail when this pod comes out.
It's at fake Korey David with a K on Instagram. Please give me your worst. Literally, hot dog. Get it? The worst? All right. I should probably go.
Yo, nice to meet you, Korey.
Later, dude.
Nice to meet you too. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
There we go.
Wild.
Wild.
I do love a coney dog.
I actually have never had one, and I'd really love to.
Yeah.
We did see eye to eye on the ketchup being absurd and
Gross.
overpowering, because you just take, it's like, oh, I taste ketchup and then something else.
Yeah, I feel like ketchup, it sort of just sweetens everything up way too much, and I don't necessarily need a tomato factor with my hot dog.
Yeah,
I love that spicy mustard, relish, and onion. I mean, listen, I'm with you, Korey.
wild. So again, I know he just said his Instagram, but it will be in the show notes. We will be tagging in this episode.
Wow.
So let the world know what you think about the Chicago dog.
Does that bring your Denver adventures to an end? I'm
Yeah,
looking at another bowl here.
Well, the very last thing I wanted to shout out, this is gonna be a long up, is Corey's girlfriend Sarah. We really hit it off because she has a Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, the cookbook. She has a bunch of Allison Roman cookbooks. She's a great cook, and we were all just kind of eating hot dogs at Yacht Club and talking food. And she was like, I'd love to, I have all these stuffed peppers from the farmer's market, or Anaheim peppers from the farmer's market. So I'd love to make dinner for you guys tomorrow before the show. We were like, that's awesome. But then we got in a big debate about how to slice your red and green bell peppers, because I said you do 4 slices, 1 on each side, and then you have your core with the seeds. And Korey was like, no, that's too many slices. That's not efficient enough. He takes the knife and just goes around the top of the stem and then pulls the whole core with the seeds out, almost like a pumpkin. And then she said, what are you talking about? That's crazy. And she just cuts it in half and then rips the sides out of each half. So there's also a big debate going on how you core your bell peppers.
Wild.
But
hot topics.
At the end of the day, the best meal I had in Denver was a homemade one from Sarah and Korey. And so I just had to take a shot of it. It was just a delicious salad with homemade dressing, delicious stuffed peppers, and it had that like crispy cheese where the cheese cooks on top of the sheet pan and gets all crispy. So great. And then we had homemade margs with fresh lime.
Wild.
So good.
And sold out shows the whole time,
and
right?
Sold out shows, baby.
Fuck yes, Denver. Well, that brings us to our news story, Mike.
An hour
this is
in.
a long app. Here we go.
An hour in.
What is the news story coming to us from Denver?
The news this week is we get back home after one of the shows, and Corey's like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, there is a massive moth migration that happens for 2 weeks every single year. So you're probably going to see a lot of moths.
Wow.
And we opened his car door, and all of these moths that were like hanging out on the undercarriage and in the door frame just flew almost like a cloud of locust out in the sky. And they're all over everything. And so the night that Chuck got me twisted on that edible, I woke up at like 3:30, still very high, kind of like your story where you fell down the stairs and almost broke your neck. In this case, I walked to the bathroom seeing triple, and I thought I was getting attacked by a dragon because I'm trying to pee in the dark standing up.
Oh,
and
they were in the house?
And there's like all these moths in the bathroom because they're nocturnal, and I turned on the lights, and then they all just started like hitting me in the back of the neck while I'm trying to piss.
Oh my
and I
God.
got so scared, and I was like, ah! And I thought I was getting attacked, and I was, but they were just moths. So my news story this week is from Denver, Denver7.com, Miller Moth Mania, what you need to know about the migration as it hits the front lines. So the Miller moths, according to butterfly scientist or lepidopterist, Sharon Hershkovich, is Miller moths come around and you'll have mass panic, but actually it's a comforting sign of spring. So in the Rocky Mountains, these moths all lay their eggs, and then the ones that don't get eaten hatch, and then they migrate from
downtown to
uptown, really. Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma.
Okay.
And they migrate up to the mountains.
Oh, okay.
And that's where they do their cycle, and then they migrate back down. So like right now, they're just taking like a 2-week vacation in Denver before they get all the way up to the Rocky Mountains.
Wow, a moth migration.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And they hate if you come into the bathroom, I guess. I don't know.
They don't like it when you're twisted on the chiba trying to pee at 3 a.m. They're like, fuck out of here,
Get
bro.
the fuck out of
We
here.
are on our fucking layover from Omaha to Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Why are you in here, bro?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know why they all sound like Mitch Hedberg.
We've got tickets to Dead and Company and you're ruining the vibe.
Bro, turn that light off, man. You're fucking harsh and my mellow. Also, lepidopterist is a fucking cool job. It's like a specialized entomologist.
Yeah.
A lepidopterist.
Yeah.
That's a butterfly scientist.
Butterfly
a butterfly
scientist.
moth scientist.
Pretty cool.
Fucking cool.
So that's the news this week is
You harshed some moths vibe into Denver. Fantastic. That's the best news story we've had in a while.
Yeah.
I love that.
well, I've been gabbing for the past 50 minutes and we are burying the lead this episode on your own weekend.
I mean, I'm just putting the picture up behind us so we can see if you're looking at the YouTube. Woody Harrelson and Bill Maher came to my house with weed, delivered a bag from their joint, The Woods, which is their dispensary in West Hollywood. And we sparked a pre-roll on my porch. And it was just wild. The whole thing came together super fast. I got a call from our friend John Capetta, who was like organizing the whole thing. And he was supposed to have flown into town from the Emerald Cup and meet up. And we were all going to hang and do it real quick. It was just a fun thing that they were doing because they're celebrating their 1 year anniversary. This time a year ago, I was at the Woods opening party with our friend Jordan. And can't believe that was a fucking year ago. So I guess, yeah, as a part of sort of like a marketing fun thing to be like, we've been open for a year. They had Woody and Bill out with a camera crew all afternoon delivering weed to friends in WeHo.
That's awesome.
And my place ended up being a stop because Capetta was supposed to come over and then he ended up getting stuck in traffic and he was like, can you just go out and meet them real quick? And so I met them on the front porch and it was wild.
You and Joel.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about it. I'm just looking at the picture and sort of like remembering how fucking crazy it
Yeah,
was.
like what's it like? I mean, it's Woody Harrelson. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, so what's the vibe? How does it feel? Like, were you happy with your interaction? Did you hold your own? Like, I need to know about it.
Okay, so yeah, the whole thing, I was having a day at home painting. My place was fucking drop cloths and brushes and I was covered in paint and I was sort of texting with Capetta and I had plans to like meet up with Joel and go for a hike with the dogs. And I was just kind of having a day at home and I was very much in my own kind of like weird Sunday swirl. And then Capetta was like, I think I can make it happen. Here's the window. I'm going to show up. We'll just meet them out front. We'll smoke a joint and then you can go on your way. And it's going to be great. And I was like, really? Like Woody Harrelson and Bill Maher? And he's like, yeah, I'll see you at 5 o'clock. I was like, okay. So at 4 o'clock, I sort of forced myself to stop down and like get cleaned up enough to meet. I was like, still, I didn't think it was going to really happen, you know? But I was like, okay, just in case this actually does happen, you never know because LA is wild. I should like shower, get this paint off my face and put on some clothing that's not like covered in fucking stuff. And then Joel came over and we were hanging out and then we just got a text from Capetta and he's like, I can't make it, but they're out front basically. And I was like, what? Okay. So we grabbed the dogs, we put them on the leash, Falcor and Archie. Joel and I walk out front and I didn't know what to expect truly. I just knew that there was a possibility that Woody Harrelson and Bill Maher might be like in an SUV on the curb. I definitely did not anticipate.
Right, like handing you something through a window, saying thank you so much, this is so fun, take care.
And someone with an iPhone kind of being on the side to just snap a couple of pics for socials. I truly didn't know what I was walking into because Capetta had just been so funny about like the whole, he was like, I'll just pull up and we'll just, see what happens. And anyway, so I walk out front not knowing what to expect. I have Archie on the leash. Joel has Falcor on the leash. We walk out front and my house is kind of weird. Like my landlady's house is in the front. And so her porch is there and she's kind of got like, packages and things on her porch and all that kind of stuff. And then my place is like around the side through this like little weird hidden gate. So you kind of can't tell where I'm coming from. Like when I come out of my gate onto the street, it is like a witch emerging from a hole. It's got like Princess Bride, Billy Crystal's weird fucking house in a tree vibes. Like it's very
down to your gate going.
It's like yeah, and then I've like Archie's being a crazy neurotic, crazy lunatic, and Falcor is being all like he's basically a puppy. And so we come out and we burst out of the gate, and Bill Maher and Woody Harrelson are standing on my landlady's porch, looking into her front window, and she's just like got like dogs in her house.
Hold on.
Okay.
Can you imagine if you're in that house and you don't know what's going on and you look and Woody Harrelson is looking in your window.
I think that she was not home because
Oh
she
my
didn't, or she
God.
just like fucking scoped it out from like her kitchen or wherever she was. And she was like, I'm not going near whatever that is, because there was a whole fucking camera crew. Yeah. Like, I'm glad she just let it all happen and left us alone. But like they kind of turned around as Joel and I emerged from this side gate. Bill is holding some package that's addressed to my landlady. And he kind of like goes and he's like, is this yours? And I was like, no, that's my landlady's. I live in the back house. And they were like, oh, and then Woody and Bill were like, we brought you weed, and they handed me this big bag of weed from the woods, and we all shook hands and said hey. And then this camera crew was there, and they were all just sort of like capturing the moment. It was very funny and very impromptu, and truly the chaos and the comedy of emerging from the weird side gate, having the dogs in the mix. Like, Falkor wanted to say hi to everyone. Archie immediately went and sat on a cameraman's foot because he's like nervous, and he just like had to immediately go and sit. And
Was he just staring at you sitting on a cameraman's foot?
Yeah, he full on, he went over to the camera people and he assessed them, and then he put like his ass on one of their dude's foot and was sat there looking at me. And then Falkor swirled. The whole thing was so crazy. And then Woody Harrelson hands me a joint. I brought it. It's right there. It's called the Woody. It's a 12-gram pre-roll. And he was like, this is the first of its kind. And we're so excited to like celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Woods, and here's this other gift for you. And I was like, well, let's smoke it right now. And so Joel ran back into the house, saved the day, got a lighter, and then we lit it up and we smoked it on my porch. And that's the picture in the if you're watching the YouTube, you can see. But I said it was like the Hadron Collider of joints, because they were making a point of saying that like there's a hole that goes right through the center of these 12 really hardcore packed
this is a hefty J.
grams. It's fucking sick. And so like that, it's like in order to draw it, it has this hole through the middle, and fucking weed physics and whatever. And anyway, it was great.
Woody Harrelson lit your joint.
Woody Harrelson and Bill Maher and I smoked that. Yeah, he lit it. In this picture, it's really funny. My friend Amy saw the pic and she was like, he must have been flicking a lot of lighters to get his forearm to look like that, because it is crazy muscular.
Yeah, he's got a hot hand.
He looks great. Like, and they were going to play basketball right after. They were talking about how they were like, they needed to get out of there to like go play a game.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, a game of pickup. And they were like, you're not invited. But then I said, I'll see you at your party tomorrow night. And you and I are going to go to their party after we record this.
Yeah.
And maybe say hi. So it was definitely like, I feel like the whole thing, I hope that it was kind of what everyone wanted, because it felt sort of like chaotic comedy in the perfect way.
Yeah.
With the dogs and the weird side gate and my landlady's funny porch with packages, and these two guys, clearly, I think too, being at the end of their day, they were both like stoned and they wanted to go play basketball. And I don't know, it felt like a crazy moment. And I threw it on my socials and then got so much feedback immediately. And I was like, of course, I wasn't even really thinking of, like, I didn't accurately even sort of let it sink in the moment, because I was shaking.
Right.
It felt surreal.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was like when you met Snoop.
Yep.
That kind of level of like, oh, this is happening. Like, it's so fucking, it's a crazy thing. I mean, Woody Harrelson, for me, his whole career has been a part of my whole life, but especially like he was in Natural Born Killers. I saw that when I was a teenager. And then The People versus Larry Flint, I also saw when I was a teenager. And like his work as a fucking actor, as an iconic fucking character actor, amazing fucking comedian. And then my whole life also, he's just been this wild activist and really standing up for environmental causes. And I've just always really admired him as an outspoken cannabis activist. And it just felt crazy to have him standing there lighting this joint, being like, it's a joint named after him from his dispensary, and he's sparking it on my porch.
That's so cool. And then how does that tie into the rest of your Sunday after that? Like, I would go to bed. I'd be like,
God.
well, it's been good, but it's not going to get better than this. I'm out.
I fully had planned to go in and paint the second half of my dining room. And instead I went to the dog park with Joel and we smoked another joint. Oh, there's a picture that I put on social media of me holding the woods. I tried to.
Nice picture.
Yeah, thanks. And there's a pic of Joel with Woody and Bill, and Falkor made it into the picture, but Archie was sitting on a cameraman.
Protecting you.
Oh my God. It was fucking awesome. And Joel really did save the day. He like got that lighter, he wrangled the dogs and everything. And then we went to the dog park And I was pretty fucking baked after smoking the Woody.
Yeah.
And so we went to the dog park and we let Falcor and Archie run around. And then we went and had ramen because I was like, I'm not going to go home and paint anymore.
No way.
I need some nudes. So we went and got some tasteful nudes.
Can this be our cream corner?
This is definitely our cream corner.
Because this is some of the best ramen in the city. If you went to the place, I think you went.
We went to Tatsu.
Yeah, the best. The best.
Well, it was funny because Joel has just come back from his travels. He's been all over the place and he like sampled the best ramen in the world
Mhm.
at a bunch of night markets in like Taiwan and Japan and all over the place. And he rated this pretty high. He was like, this is pretty fucking good. And it was a great slurp after. And, you know, we like had smoked another joint on the way from the dog park to ramen. It was the most satisfying stone slurp. Also, to be with a friend that you can eat ramen with, that's a friend.
It is. That is a private meal at times.
That is not a date food.
No.
You don't eat ramen in front of someone that you're like trying to date. I don't think.
Well,
I mean, unless you just are like eating it in a sexy way, which is like the slurp, I guess. The slurp factor could be sexy.
I don't know because I always want to go for it with ramen because I want to, if I
Yeah.
do ever have the opportunity to go to any anywhere where like ramen is like a national food, like I'm not sure like if that would be Taiwan or Japan or whatever, but I know they all do like heavy slurping over there. So when I eat it, I'm consciously trying to do big slurps because I want to do it the way that way when I go over there I don't stick out too much like a sore thumb.
Right.
But I don't know that I actually want to do that in front of people in America, those big slurps.
Right.
So I want to go for it, but I don't know how many people I'd actually feel comfortable going for it in front of.
Yeah. And I guess the whole thing is like, if you're trying, like, the thing about being a woman and dating in this country is that like, there's a few different kinds of dudes, right? And obviously there's the kind of guy who would just like love to see you tuck into a bowl of ramen and there's nothing hotter than that. But when I have been dating in my life, the societal pressure that I have always felt is to be concerned about the way I look when I'm eating. Like I love finding people who want to tuck into stuff with me. I love like eating and just fucking going ham on a bowl of ramen or a hot pot or whatever with, you know, you or Joel or friends or, you know,
Yeah.
and not worrying about what I look like. But if I'm on a date and trying to be like cute and sexy, slurping noodles, I'm going to feel nervous that I'm going to be judged for that somehow.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Because there's nothing funnier than when you do a big slurp and as that noodle flies into your mouth, like you get like the remnants of the sauce like all the way
Totally.
down from your forehead to the bridge of your nose.
Yeah, you've got some green onion on your eyebrow or whatever. It's like the Balrog in the Lord of the Rings when he's like falling into the abyss and then Gandalf is like hanging onto the thing and then the whip comes up. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The fire whip and it lashes him and it pulls him down into the abyss. It's like that, but ramen.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which, I do, if we're going to talk about sexy eating and not sexy eating.
Yeah, Joel and I just to clarify,
Yeah.
not sexy eating.
Tucking in.
All the slurps.
All the
Yes.
slurps.
I mean, that
Nice.
would be really weird if we had done sexy eating and then I was trying to talk about that on here.
The my new TikTok, I'm just moving on.
Joel? Joel, I'm sweating.
My new favorite TikTok is 2 Girls, 1 Bottle.
Okay.
And it is, I don't know where they're from, but they're these like super hot put together women with long, long fingernails. And one of them is like eating fried chicken in a KFC. And the other one is making a boozy alcoholic mixed drink. And they don't say anything. And they just like look at the camera. And I am obsessed with it.
I've seen it.
You have?
I have. You just rang all the bells. So fucking funny. All of that fucking TikTok content with the weird, like Hot Cheeto Girl you introduced me to.
Hot
I didn't know
Cheeto
who the fuck
Girl's
she was.
great.
Hot Cheeto Girl's amazing. There's another girl that I just started following. Cannot remember her name, but she just does like clicky nails and makeup while she just says funny truths.
Yes.
Fucking great. But the no talking, just making a drink in McDonald's with clicky nails.
Yeah.
Hot.
Like it almost to me feels like a psyop from China. Like it feels like this weird propaganda scientific building. Like I wouldn't be surprised if somehow that is like a front for some kind of like communist nation.
Oh, you
And
think Hot Cheeto Girl is a front?
Yo, I don't know. It's just like so
I think that shit's
perfect.
art, man.
It's art. Maybe it's just I can't appreciate art as art. I need it to
Well, not on
have an
TikTok.
agenda.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you're right to be like definitely skeptical about anything that's popping up because I just had someone accuse me of being a paid influencer on the sandwich stuff. And I was like, bro, get a fucking grip. I'm making these sandwich videos because I care about issues that affect me and 50% of the population. And I'm talking about sexism and misogyny while making sandwiches. That's it. I'm not paid to do this. And he was like, forgive me, but Biden just announced that they're hiring a shit ton of influencers ahead of the next election. And that's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
And I was like, Point taken.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely good to be skeptical of anyone you see on any of those apps.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But in your case, and in the case of Two Girls, One Bottle,
we're pure.
pure art.
Pure's the driven snow. Sandwiches are art, baby. Pure art. All right, what are we looking at here?
Buds of the week.
Oh, these are our buds of the week. Are we there?
If we want to be.
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay.
Yeah, we're into this one.
My bud of the week this week.
Mm-hmm.
You might hate him. You might love him. Korey David at fake Korey David is his Instagram. This is us right after co-headlining at Church of Cannabis
Look
on
at that
Mother's
fit.
Day. That fit is a collab between this local Denver clothing company and Coca-Cola, and he and his girlfriend Sarah can both wear that, and so they're like almost like sharing weeks of who gets to wear the new fit because it looks so banging on both of them.
Love it.
And everywhere we went, every show we did, he crushed. And then afterwards, everyone was like, "Where did you get that? Where did you get that fit?" Because it's so sick.
Sick.
Yeah. And also, he's like, he let me borrow his bike. This is very funny. Let me just make sure that I got his Instagram right. And then I will tell you about when I almost fell off a bike, which is funny because, yep, fake Korey David, Korey with a K, fake Korey David.
Korey, and it's an EY, right?
Yeah, Korey EY.
Okay.
And so the night before I did my joke about Biden falling off the bike
Oh, great.
and how it's parked.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really into outdoor skateboarding. His bike that he let me borrow is like $4,000 because it's the kind of thing where you go up into the mountains and then you can like cut through the terrain and it has like shocks on each side. And he's like, so use that one while we go around the park and I'll use the other one. I'm like, cool.
For your soft hands.
For
and
my
your...
bitch ass body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like riding it everywhere and it has like these big thick tires. And when I try to get on it in front of his house, next to his house is this gardening crew weed whacking, raking, and mowing the lawn. And they look at us and he hops on the bike. He does like a little bunny hop on and off the curb. He's like real steady with it. And I just tried to put my leg over the bike and I go, whoa, 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 whoa. And I almost ate shit. And he was like, dude, you can't be doing Biden jokes when you can't even get on the bike to ride it. At least he rode it and then tried to get off. And I almost like ate shit on his $4K or his $4,000 bike before I even fucking pedaled a moment. It was
karma.
Very funny. Yeah, it was really funny.
So funny. Wow.
So anyway, that's my bud of the week at fake Korey David. Let him know what your take is on hot dogs.
Yo, and I hope he comes to LA sometime.
Yeah.
My bud of the week is our friend Michael Walker, seen here in a Slimer suit. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Probably doing something for Comfy Pup, or was this just Halloween? Who knows? He's a fun guy. Michael's fucking awesome friend. Like we said, Comfy Pup is the greatest pop-up in LA, doing Chicago-style hot dogs and other amazing food that I love. That schnitzel sandwich to die for.
Yeah.
He also just recently did a fucking pizza collab.
Tavern-style pizza. Sold out. I think it sold out in an hour.
Less, 40 minutes, I believe.
Wow.
Because I was just chatting with him because he is going to help out with some t-shirt designs for the sandwich series. We're going to have a couple of tees that we're going to sell with some proceeds going to a charity, TBD, but probably one of the abortion rights, reproductive rights charities. And yeah, he's just fucking awesome. And also he's helping me build, he's building, and then he's going to help me figure out how to use ChatGPT as a sandwich generator, because I would love to have better, bigger ideas for cooler sandwiches. And I've kind of got my go-tos and I've kind of run through them. And we were chatting when the three of us went to see Beau is Afraid together.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he uses ChatGPT for a bunch of different stuff.
For recipe development and things like that, huh?
Yeah. And I was like,
Cool.
Oh my God, I wonder if I could figure it out for sandwiches. And he was like, I will help build you one. And it's going to be like, I'm going to be able to just plug in prompts for like what I have in my pantry. And, you know, like maybe if I want some more plant-based sandwiches this week, or if like have specific topics that would be tied to specific recipes or ingredients. And I'm going to have a ChatGPT sandwich generator. So I'm going to try and embrace the AI, not run from it screaming like I want to do.
Right.
And build some cool sandwiches, and also have some t-shirts that I'll be able to talk about hopefully in the next like week or so.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that's Michael Walker, and he's at Michael Walker with extra R's. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can follow him and follow Comfy Pup and all the cool shit he does. He's also just like a badass, wonderful human being.
Yeah, he is.
And he and Ellen are getting married, so shout out to both of them for love. For love.
This has been a really fun up.
Yeah, good time. I missed you, Mike.
Yeah,
Good to have you
same.
back. Oh, well, we'll talk about it next week.
What?
Other things.
What?
Roy Choi.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Was like the other. It was a weekend bookended by like amazing fucking high profile people in the cannabis world. Chef Roy Choi has developed a line of flavors for our favorite sumo snacks. And they did a launch party at MedMen, and I went and said hey for both of us.
Nice.
And it was so nice to say hello in person. He was like, Weed and Grub, because we had him on the pod when he was doing his second season of Broken Bread. He's going to come back on the pod in person, hopefully. So we got to make that happen. And it was just like Sumo are doing such great collaborations with the best people, and their flavors are out of this world. I'm wearing their hat right now for this latest line. It says, I'm a space cadet. And they're delicious and amazing people just behind the whole brand and company. And I think they've just like really got a lock on like what's like needed in the kind of edibles world, like a delicious line of savory snackables that are shareable. They're coming in kind of like party size bags. So you can just, put them out at a picnic or take a whole bag to the movies.
Nice.
Not an ad for them. I just love them.
I do too.
Mhm.
And also if I truly trust anything that like a chef like Roy Choi is going to put his name behind and celebrate and work with, I think the standard has to be fucking high.
He does not mess with anything that he doesn't believe in.
No. Like Best Friend Vegas, great restaurant. Kogi Truck, amazing.
Oh, and that was the best. They had the Kogi Truck out front. So you got to go in, say hi to chef. I got a little swag bag, and then I got a ticket to go out, and I got a free Kogi taco.
Oh my God.
I got the short rib. It was, again, not something to eat in front of someone you're trying to impress. Luckily, I was talking to someone who I hope didn't care, because I housed that shit like an animal.
This is great to know. I'm in Denver and I'm yelling about toasted bread. Meanwhile, you're like slurping ramen and eating Kogi trucks and just going
my face like
and hanging out with celebs.
I hope no one's looking at me.
That's cool. Yeah, I do. I really hope he comes back on the pod.
Yes.
And we can all hang and smoke and talk food. That would be really nice.
Set it up, for sure.
Cool. Anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you to Alex for shepherding us through this episode. Producer Mark is out of the office doing other fancy fun stuff. I don't know.
I think this was a great episode. Alex.
Yeah.
You're in.
You're in.
Mark.
Gold.
Sorry, buddy.
Demoted. Jesus. Follow us at Weed and Grub on Instagram, YouTube. Email us at wg@weedandgrub.com with pictures, requests, all that kind of stuff. If you want to send us snail mail, Mike said his full address on the pod a week ago, I think. 1 or 2 weeks ago. Okay. Full address, including apartment number. You can send snail mail that way. You can also follow us on Twitch. We're live streaming our eps nowadays. Is that it? Is that everything? TikTok at Mike and Mary Jane. Mike and Mary Jane. Our Vegas hack video just hit 1.1 million views. That's crazy. And it is a split in the comments between handing the hotel person in Vegas $20 does get you a room upgrade. Mm-hmm. And then everyone else is like, that doesn't work. It's never worked. You're all liars. It's bullshit. It's a very 50-50 split, but 1.1 million views on TikTok. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. So there you go. Going viral. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm stoked to hang out next week because this is my favorite part of the week. So same. Thank you all for listening. I guess we've got to go hang out with Woody and Roy and Bill and what a drag. Ew. It'll be so fun. Bye, everyone. Bye.